Hello and welcome to StudyIQ. I am Prashant Pamani. I hope you all are doing good. Today is 24th October. The special topic that I have for you guys today is pertaining to pollution. We are going to learn from China's experiment as well as experience as far as this dealing with this air pollution is concerned. So many things that we can learn from this experiment of China. So let's crack on. Before moving ahead, I would like to introduce all of you to our pen drive and tablet courses. They are designed by best faculties of our country, available for various different competitive exams as you can see on your screen. Any question or queries, feel free and give us a call on numbers that you can see on your screen. All important details are available on studyiq.com. Now, there was a time when Beijing and Delhi were competing with each other for this infamous tag of being world's most polluted cities. I'm talking about 2013, 2012, and since then China has started working on this thing, and we find that air quality has improved steadily in Beijing, but things are as bad. In fact, things are from bad, it has gone to worst in our country, particularly in Delhi. If we go through the figures of Beijing back in 2017, the yearly average concentration, pay attention here, we are talking about yearly average concentration in Beijing of this PM 2.5, that is particulate matter with a size of 2.5 microns or less. So they are so tiny they can bypass this filter system that we have in our nose, and then it can, this PM 2.5 particles can reach our lungs, and then they can, kick all these respiratory diseases, particularly in small kids, and for elderly people it's a big health issue. So in 2017, yearly average of Beijing touched 58 micrograms per cubic meter. The average concentration of PM 2.5 in Delhi in 2017 was 130 micrograms per cubic meter. In the same year, the number of very unhealthy days when the pollution levels were very high in Delhi was 4 times that of Beijing. So you can see here that Beijing pollution level is coming down, our is going up, and this is the reason why we find this big gap of 4 times. Now it was January 2013 when the central, northern and eastern region of China was going through this great smog, and at that point of time this terminology, this word was coined called Airpocalypse. Airpocalypse means this air pollution is so bad that it is, it's a doom. So it's a catastrophe to breathe in this region, the central, northern and eastern region, particularly during this great smog era of January 2013. For nearly a month, an extremely severe haze with record-breaking PM 2.5 levels engulfed an area housing around 800 million people in Beijing. Something similar was going on in 2012 in winter in Delhi, we were experiencing worst smog ever. And in September 2013, to be specific, 12th September 2013, China's State Council is a counterpart of Cabinet, Union Cabinet of India. So you can imagine we are talking about heart and mind of Beijing, or heart and mind of China, or as far as government is concerned. The central government passed this action plan on prevention and control of air pollution. This action plan had clear targets. This is the most important thing about this action plan, that it was having this clear targets as well as well thought out, well brainstormed measures to achieve this targets. So they identified these 3 different areas. You have Beijing, Tianjin and Hebei. You find these areas in this Yangtze River Delta and Pearl River Delta. So these 3 places are very important, they are, you can say, mind and heart of China. And it was decided that this specific pollution reduction targets were given that compared to 2012, by 2017, in this BTH, that is Beijing, Tianjin and Hebei region, which will term as BTH in today's discussion. So this BTH area's target was decided that by 2017 it should be 25% less than what it was back in 2012. So, and particularly for this capital Beijing, action plan were designed, and this action plan was to make sure that PM 2.5 concentration is below 60 micrograms per cubic meter by 2017. So they came out with this 10 measures, and as you can see on your screen, it is about development of integrated control efforts for reducing multiple pollutants, establishing regional coordination mechanisms, and improving environmental regulations and enforcement, and green cover, and promoting clean energy saving methods, and shifting industries out of these areas and things like that. And it was not just that Beijing was, or at that point of time Beijing planned about something. It is something that Beijing was has been very serious, and Beijing implemented these measures quite severely. As you can see on your screen, right, in 2017, for example, the quota of new vehicles was fixed at 1,50,000 cars, with 60,000 allotted only to fuel efficient cars. In 2018, this quota was reduced to 1 lakh cars per annum. This registration of new vehicles came down in Beijing region. Traffic and pollution and everything was controlled via this measure. Beijing also started getting rid of high polluting and old vehicles. So by 2017, no, not by 2017, but in 2017, 3 lakh vehicles, high polluting and old vehicles, were scrapped. As far as coal usage is concerned, right, Beijing set a target to reduce coal consumption from 23 million tons in 2013 to 5 million tons by 2020. And by 2017, it has reduced 11 million tons. It has reduced to 11 million tons. So they have achieved, a big gap. So that's outstanding as well of China. They have closed all these big high polluting power station, coal-based power station, and this coal-based power stations are replaced with natural gas fire powered plants and renewable energy sources. Industrial pollution was quite high. To control this thing, they started implementing strict measures, or penalties were levied on all these polluting industries and factories, and altogether in 2016 it collected some $21.8 million worth of fine, or you can say 150 crore rupees were collected in these fines, and these fines were used for environmental protection. Beijing has undertaken a massive greening program as well. They have created 4,022 hectares of urban green space, 150 urban leisure parks, 21 small green spaces, 10 leisure parks in Beijing region, 5 urban forests, and 100 kilometers of healthy greenways. And by doing all these things, and apart from that, getting rid of this small coal-fired boilers, pollution control in key industries, management of urban transport, control on number of vehicles, improvement in fuel quality, retirement of old vehicles, enhancement of vehicle emission standards, relocation of industries, and strict enforcement, and all these things helped China or Beijing to achieve what they have achieved today. By implementing this plan, what they achieved was back in 2017, Beijing recorded 226 blue sky days. That means out of 365 days, 226 days in Beijing city was having good air quality, compared to just 176 in 2013. In this BTH region, PM level dropped, about 30% between 2013 and 2017. So they have achieved, they have done a bit good here as well. So as you can see, Beijing took, it designed a strategy, it implemented this strategy, and because of this thing, they have achieved these good numbers. So there are so many lessons that we can learn from this experience and experiment of China, and this was our special topic. Now moving on to important news item. Our Home Minister was in Jammu and Kashmir for a day, and he interacted with the people of Jammu and Kashmir, particularly to youngsters. He appealed that they should stay away from this gunfight sites or scenes, and they should stay away from this counter-terrorist operations, and so that we can avoid this collateral damage. He also appealed people to participate in upcoming Panchayati elections. He also complimented people for taking part in municipal elections that have just been concluded. He also talked about a reduction in this stone pelting. He talked about a reduction in this recruitment or brainwashing of youngsters. He also talked about steps that are taken by central as well as state government to make sure that life of people living in Jammu and Kashmir is as smooth as possible. He reviewed the security of LOC and border region to international border. Supreme Court has refused to impose a blanket ban on sale of manufacture of firecrackers. A plea was filed in Supreme Court for a blanket ban on manufacturing as well as sale of firecrackers across the country. But Supreme Court has said that rather than imposing a blanket ban, Supreme Court has said that we need to fix time limits, like 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. should be a time for bursting firecrackers. He talked about, beg your pardon, Supreme Court talked about community cracker bursting. Supreme Court has banned Flipkart, Amazon and other e-commerce websites to sell firecrackers online. We were talking about noise pollution a couple of days ago, remember? And here you find that firecrackers with only permissible decibel sound limits will be allowed to be sold in the market. Environment Ministry has launched Harit Diwali Swasthya Diwali, and I believe we all should support this Harit Diwali Swasthya Diwali. It's not just about us, but it is also about our flora and fauna. Just imagine the psychological situation of cows and dogs and birds when they are exposed to this sort of high, surprising bombs and, this firecrackers. Supreme Court talked about community cracker bursting. Countries like Australia, parts of USA, parts of UK, they do this thing where rather than individuals cracking, these firecrackers, enjoying these firecrackers, it is a government or your local administration will hit the fire, and this local administration will conduct a firecracker show for an hour or 1.5 hours, and once you are done with this, you are done. So no more individual firecrackers by individuals or citizens. So this is something that we can do here in our country as well. It's very sad to find this news from West Bengal. There was a stampede at Howrah station, which is in West Bengal, and 14 people are injured and 2 passed away because of this thing. Just a couple of days ago, this thing was a big news where this people were standing in front of a railway track, and they were hit by this passing train, and some 58 people died, and some equal numbers are injured and are a bit serious as well. So that's everything. Moving on to Prime Minister's office, we have 3 news items coming from PMO. The first one is about Prime Minister's interaction he is going to have today with IT and electronic manufacturing professionals as well as key IT leaders. He's going to launch this Main Nahi Hum, that means a self for society, or not only me but all of us, so it's more about caring for society, caring for our surrounding. And this is basically a portal and an app that will be launched by Prime Minister, and he will get in touch with people from 100 different locations. Particularly these professionals from 100 different locations will interact with our Prime Minister. Then Prime Minister had a telephonic conversation with Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi, and both the leaders discussed about historical and strategic friendship that we share with each other. We talked about developing this bilateral relation to higher good for the betterment of the people of both the nations. And then there was this regional discussion and things going on in Middle East region and things like that. We also talked about international issues that are going on in different parts of the world. Then in Dubai, yesterday this VETEX 2018 kicked off. So you have Water, Energy, Technology and Environment exhibition that is called VETEX 2018. It's taking place in Dubai, and India has also took part in this thing, this exhibition VETEX 2018. International Convention and Exhibition Center was inaugurated by Economic Affairs Rahul Srivastava, and during this 3-day exhibition, students, youngsters and exhibitors from India, 40 Indian exhibitors will display things that we can do with water, solar and renewable energy, how we can get rid of this coal and climate change and things like that. Now one thing before saying goodbye to you is that this VETEX 2018 set up by Indian Commerce, Indian Chamber of Commerce, that is ICC. Then you have a support of Consulate General of India in Dubai, and Ministry of Commerce and Industries also supporting this Indian pavilion at VETEX 2018. So that's everything in today's discussion, dear friends. Thank you very much for listening. Make sure you download the PDF of today's lecture from my FB page and Twitter handle. Please make sure that you share this lecture with other students, and Don't forget to hit the like button if you have learned something from today's discussion, and pass your valuable comments as well. What do you think we should do as far as this pollution of air is concerned? Not only air pollution, but we find various different noise pollution, soil pollution, so many things, so many pollutions are going on in our country. And if we will, if we'll go this way, then it's going to be big catastrophe for all of us. So that's everything, dear friends. Thank you very much. God bless you all. Jai Hind.